Hi VC, word to your mother. Midge here, guy in a hat who likes to talk about records. And I thought it was about time we caught up on my R's, my recent repetitive rotations. I haven't done any for a while, and I thought you might be interested to hear what I've been listening to recently, new and old. But if you don't, that's cool too. You can stop the video here. Everybody else seems to be doing videos on the Beatles Anthology 4. I'd love to do one too, but there was just a little slight snag. Well, as my granny used to say, you can fuck that sky high. So I'll be keeping an eye on the sales and Amazon and stuff over the next couple of months and hoping that I can get a copy that's not stupid amounts of money. But Beatles aside, we're back to my R's. I know you all like to see my R's. And I've got 7 records for you today. And I tend to do a lot of Professor Waffle. So I'll try and cut all that and keep to the point. So 7 records, all from different periods, some new, some old. And the first one is from 1969. And this is Melvin Jackson's Funky Skull. I mean, look at this cover. Look at that dude, man. I mean, look at he's got an eye on a chain. He's bold. He's a funky dude. And he's a bass man. I mean, how funky can you get? So this is his. I'm not sure if it's his only album from '69. It's just had a repress, and I managed to get a copy in a sale, and I've been playing this to death. It's absolutely amazing, and it's a mixture. It's how I like my jazz. It's like funky jazz with a bit of soul and a bit of oddness. So basically, Melvin here, he puts his bass through several different effects cabinets and pedals and filters and stuff. So I think he's got an Echoplex on there. He's got a Maestro, which I'll come on to later. So basically, in all the tracks on this album, he's got a sort of really distorted, funky bass sound, which sets the album, apart from a lot of other jazz albums and funk jazz albums. And yeah, it's a really like funky sort of weird. It's not avant-garde. There's lots of tunes and stuff, and it does more on the side of soul and funk. It's just that every track his bass is really prominent because of the effects pedals he puts through it. Sometimes he plucks, sometimes he uses as a bow, but they've all gone through these effects filters. So you've got really cool, like the title track, the Funky Skull Parts 1 and 2. It's got a really cool sort of funky guitar riff running through it and some sax solos. You've got Bold and Black. It's a great uplifting black rights anthem. There's a few sort of disembodied vocals and stuff, sort of female soulful vocals in the background. That's really cool too, really uplifting. Then you've got the 6-minute Dance of the Dervish. That's really cool. That's got a really cool sort of psychedelic edge to it. Lots of psychedelic effects. Again, lots of sort of wailing, disembodied vocals and lots of funky sort of riffs and bass figures. And it's really cool. Like I say, it's got quite a psychedelic edge at times, but that's a really standout track, Dance of the Dervish. It's quite eerie in places. Also, you've got Everybody Loves My Baby, which is like a small interlude. That's with him playing his bowed bass. And it's got like a lot of heavily processed bass sounds and lots sort of percussive sounds on it. Cold Duck Time, parts 1 and 2, that's really cool. And in fact, his bass does sound like a duck on it, which is quite a feat for a jazz man. But yeah, that's worth checking out as well. And you've got the track Funky Do, which is a bit like a Funkadelic Parliament type track. It's like a Stax instrumental dance track in a way. It's got like a repeated sort of vocal refrain of "Come on, everybody, do the funky do," and that's really cool as well. Another notable thing about this album is I don't know if you recognise that gizmo there. That's the Maestro Filter G2. And it was Melvin Jackson was actually a member of Eddie Harris's backing band. So you might recognise that from the cover of Eddie Harris's Plug Me In, because he had a Maestro G2 as well. And basically, it's like a weird effects box that makes your saxophone and your bass sound really cool. It can almost make your instrument sound percussive as well. So it's got sort of lots of buttons and lots of effects, filters. And in fact, if you look online, there's some really cool YouTube videos of people using it and showing you how it works and, you know, the sort of sounds it creates. So it's really cool. And the Beastie Boys were big fans of it as well, because they had a Maestro effects filter after seeing one on here. I think Ad Rock picked one up and they used it all over the Check Your Head album. So like they say, just plug me in, just like I was Eddie Harris. I'm eating crazy cheese so you could say I'm from Paris. So it's affected the Beastie Boys too. So they had one as well. And yeah, really cool album. Melvin Jackson, Funky Skull. Really recommend picking it up if you love soul jazz and a bit of oddness thrown in as well. So that's really cool. Love that album. Next up, we've got an artist that's new to me. I picked this up simply because the dude looked really cool on the cover, and I thought that looks interesting, and it was. So this is Moon Martin, and as you can see, he looks quite geeky. He looks a bit like Andy Warhol, and he's got two sort of aliens at the back of him, which intrigued me as well. And the album's called Escape from Domination, from 1978. So the cover intrigued me, and I thought, what does this guy sound like? It was cheap, so I picked it up. And I've really been enjoying this. It's sort of like new wave, power pop, but it's got its influences in rock and roll as well, 50s rock and roll. As you can tell from the cover, it's like a B movie. And in a way, it sort of sounds like it's from 1978, but it also sounds like what a few people in the UK were doing around this time. You know, so like Dave Edmunds, Nick Lowe, Elvis Costello. It's sort of like new wave power pop, but it's got like a lot of rock and roll influences to it. So it was pretty much mirroring what some of the UK guys were doing at the same time. But yeah, this is really sort of catchy, sort of power pop with a hint of rock and roll. Some great tracks on here. They've all catchy, all got great choruses. I've Got a Reason, She Made a Fool of You, The Feeling's Right, Rolene, which I think was the biggest single off here. And when I had a bit of looking into Moon Martin, he was a guy that wrote Doctor, Doctor, Give Me the News, I've Got a Bad Case of Loving You, that Robert Palmer made a hit. So if you imagine that song, that's sort of like the sort of stuff that Moon Martin does. Apparently his nickname was Moon Martin because he put a lot of the word moon in a lot of his songs. So, you know, that's where he got his nickname from. But I've been really enjoying this. It's quite stripped back. There's not a lot of production to it. It's quite simple. He's got a small core band around him. So there's not like a lot of production effects or anything. That's quite raw. It's quite stripped back. Again, like 50s rock and roll. But it's really, really catchy. And it's I've been really enjoying this, and I love the artwork on it. You've got the lyrics on one side and another picture of Moon Martin. It just looks like one of you, like a geography teacher or something, doesn't it? And it's on the Capitol label. And apparently, he did make quite a few albums in the 70s, and they're all, I've been looking, they're all quite cheap. So it's definitely worth investigating if you like that sort of thing. So if you like anything like was on you know, like the Stiff label or Nick Lowe and things like that, then I think you'd like it. It's really cool power pop. So that's Moon Martin and Escape from Domination from 1978. Okay, next up is an album that I've been after for many, many years. In fact, it's more like many, 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 many years. I've been after it that long. I've never seen one in the wild, never seen an original. I presume they go for a lot of money. It's an album that's always been recommended in certain best of lists and underground classics. And there's just been a recent reissue of it, which has been amazing. And fortunately, I've never heard this album before. I've been aware of it, but I've never thought I'd spoil it by listening to it. I always wanted to wait until I'd actually got a copy before listening to it. And when I've been listening to it, I'm pleased to report it's as good as people say it is. It's absolutely fantastic. So this is from 1980, and this is the Soft Boys and Underwater Moonlight. And check out that cover. It's such a great cover. And I absolutely love this album. I've been playing it to death. Obviously, I think the most famous member is the songwriter for this band, Robin Hitchcock. I've not heard any of his solo stuff either, so I'm hoping to check him out next. But this is great. It's the second act. I think, yeah, they only made 2 albums, I think. This is their second album, and the band fell apart after this. But it's such a shame because the songwriting on here is absolutely amazing. And Robin Hitchcock was influenced by people like Syd Barrett and Captain Beefheart and the Velvet Underground, and it all comes out in this album. The songwriting is superb. There's not a single bad track on this. It's sort of like, it's power pop. It's sort of like, it's got Velvet's influences in it. It's underground. It's new wave. It's so catchy as well. It's just brilliant. There's loads of psych in it as well. You can tell he was influenced by a lot of psych. And it's just such a great album. I'm so glad I'd saved it until I'd actually got a copy. And this is one of those reissues that it just puts other reissues to shame. It's an amazing reissue. Lovely glossy colour, hard cardboard sleeve, gatefold sleeve. Absolutely superb. There's a full colour booklet that comes with it that goes through the history of the band, and there's an interview with Robin Hitchcock too. It's got the full lyrics from all the songs. It's got some great band shots too. And it's an absolutely superb issue. Absolutely beautifully done. It's on this really lovely blue type teal vinyl. It comes in one of them polyiners that you lot seem to absolutely love. I can't stand them myself. It's just horrible things, but I much prefer a paper sleeve. But don't get me started. Paper sleeves, they ruin your vinyl. They don't ruin your vinyl. If you take your vinyl out of your sleeve 150 plus times a year, then maybe so. But do you play a record that much? I don't think so. But yeah, you lot love these. I'm not that so keen. But that's by the by, isn't it? Sorry about the little rant there. But back to the album, yeah. Honestly, this album is superb. If you've never heard it or never heard the Soft Boys, honestly, pick it up. It's absolutely superb. Every track here, I Want to Destroy You, sounds like, the Stooges. Kingdom of Love, I Got the Hearts. The Queen of Eyes is great. It's sort of like it's got like a birdsy jangle running through it. Lots of like psych edge sounds to it. Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. You'll Have to Go Sideways is great. The guitarist Kimberly Rue does a really sort of quirky, off-kilter riff that runs through it. And I can't recommend this highly enough. The guitars throughout are just brilliant. And Robin Hitchcock's lyrics are really cool as well. There's some really sort of odd lyrics on here. There's a great song called Old Pervert, which is like a warp blues, and that's got some really great lyrics to it as well. I'm an old pervert and I hang around under the bridge. I won't do you no harm. I want to take you back home and show you what I've got in my fridge. And the great thing about that song is it's got my nickname in it too. So it goes, so come on little girl, is your name Hester or maybe it's Midge? So, cool. But I must stress, I'm not the old pervert of the song. Well, I'm, no more than any other bloke. But yeah, lyrically, it's great as well. There's some really great lines in here. This is one of my other favourites as well, if I can find it. No, I can't find it. Yeah, it's in the song Kingdom of Love. You've been laying eggs under my skin. Now they're hatching out under my chin. Now they're tiny insects showing through, and all of the tiny insects look like you. There's some great lyrics on here. Absolutely adore this album. I can't recommend it highly enough. The reissues on Tiny Ghost, it's brilliant. Honestly, go and get a copy now. Fantastic. The Soft Boys, Underwater Moonlight from 1980. Love it. Next up is an album that I've pulled out because it's recently been reissued, and I really wanted to listen to it again because I haven't heard it for a while, and I absolutely love this band, and I think this is my favourite album by them. it's just been reissued. If you haven't heard it before, I really urge that you go out and listen to it and get a copy. And it's Supergrass, Road to Ruin from 2005. This is my OG copy. I think I bought it on the day it came out. Absolutely love Supergrass. They're one of the most underrated UK bands of the time, I think. And yeah, they never got the due they deserved. They'd never sold as many records as they should have done. They never got lumped in with Britpop, which I think they were quite pleased about. But I think if they had have been lumped in a bit more with Britpop, then they might have sold a few more records. They have reformed for touring, and they've been touring extensively for the last couple of years. But I really, really want them to bring out another album and new material. But if Pulp can do it after 24 years, and hopefully Supergrass will get around to releasing something, really want them to keep making records. This isn't their last record. I think it's the second to last. I think Diamond Hoo Ha came after this one, so this was the second to last album they did. And what's so great about this album is very different from the other albums they made. It's quite mature sounding for them. It's very reflective. At the time, I think Gaz and Rob's mum passed away, and I think it's reflected in the music. It's very sort of somber. It's very laid back. It's very reflective. It's very mournful at times, but it's not a depressing album at all. There's loads of upbeat tracks. It's just that the reflective ones are quite unusual for them, and they're absolutely gorgeous. You've got tracks like Low C and Finn, which are absolutely beautiful, talk about loss and love. But you've also got the really upbeat songs, like you've got Kick in the Teeth is one of their best rockers. You've got Coffee in the Pot, which is really quirky, instrumental, and Tales of Endurance, which has got like a prog sort of element to it. It is in 3 parts, and it's sort of got quite Floydy in places. And obviously the single St. Petersburg. But honestly, if you've never heard this album, it's really worth picking up the reissue, because it's such a great album. Like I say, one of my favourite bands, and I think this is my favourite album by them. It was recorded in France, which is why it's called Road to Ruin, and also I think it was named after the Ramones album Road to Ruin as well. But yeah, pick this up if you've not heard it. It's such a great album. Love Supergrass. So get on with it, Gaz and Co, and make another album, please. Next up, another reissue of an album by a band that I've never checked out. And I don't know why I've never checked them out, because I've been playing this album to death. It's absolutely amazing. And the band have had a reissue campaign, I think it was earlier on this year, so I picked one up just to try it, and I absolutely love it. And it's the band Magazine, and this is their 1978 album Real Life, produced by John Leckie, who produced the Stone Roses and loads of bands over the years, cast, but a lot of 70s acts as well. And yeah, absolutely love this album. Obviously, the band leader Howard Devoto, he was a member of the Buzzcocks very early on, and obviously Pete Shelley was leading the Buzzcocks, and I think Howard was sort of like he wants to lead his own band as well, and maybe their version of pop punk wasn't his sort of vision, so he left and created his own band, which was a Magazine, and you can see the difference because his version of punk, which is it was not really punk, to be honest. It's more imaginative than it. It goes beyond that. So it's got like a lot of theatricality in it. It reminds me in places of Steve Harley in Cockney Rebel, the sort of theatrical way he projects his vocals and things like that. And also the reason why I love this album is I can hear a lot of early Roxy music in it. The guitarist John McKeoch is amazing, and he's got a real sort of like Phil Manzanera sound to his riffs and the way he plays guitar. Well, to my ears anyway. So I've been absolutely loving this album. It's like a mixture of punk, experimentalism, 70s rock. It's all over the place, and also you've got the guy Dave Formula in the band who handles the keyboards, and he's got like a really sort of imaginative sound. Sometimes it's synth, sometimes it's piano, and they sound a bit. He sounds a bit Stranglers type, the sort of thing that Dave Greenfield was doing in the Stranglers. But I think they were more or less around at the same time. So I'm not saying one pinched off the other, but they've got like a very similar sound at times. It's in the track "The Great Beautician in the Sky." It's got like a really sort of like synthesizer waltz type sound, which the Stranglers use quite a bit. So there's elements of like the Stranglers in there, or perhaps there's elements of Magazines in the Stranglers. I don't know. That's one for you to argue out. But yeah, been absolutely loving this. Barry Adamson as well in the band, Martin Jackson on drums, obviously Howard Devoto on vocals and lyrics, and there's some great songs on here. The Light Pours Out of Me, Motorcade, Definitive Gaze, and obviously the classic single Shot by Both Sides, which was co-written with Pete Shelley of the Buzzcocks, as was another track on here as well. But Shot by Both Sides, you can hear the sort of Pete Shelley's influence in that with the catchy chorus and things like that. But I've been absolutely loving this album. It's right up my alley. This comes on red vinyl. It's got some sleeve notes on it, and also sleeve notes from Dave Formula. Great band shot there. What a bunch of oddballs, but in a fantastically great way. But I've been loving this album. It's really quirky, really imaginative. And elements of, like I say, it's got elements of punk in it, 70s rock, Roxy Music, Steve Harley. So yeah, loving this. Definitely going to pick up some more of their other albums, and yeah, loving that. So that's Magazine's Real Life. Really recommend that. And following on from that, something a bit different. Yeah, I love Kiss, the band Kiss, and as you know, in the 70s, 1978, every member released a solo album, and that's incredible to think of these days. I mean, the amount of money the record company must have put in for a band to make 4 albums at once, effectively, and the fact that they thought their fan base was strong enough to release 4 albums and have them all sell really well. So obviously I'm talking about Kiss and the solo albums. So I've got all the solo albums, or so I thought, and I was going through my collection the other day, well, a while ago now, and I thought, I can't find Ace Frehley's album anywhere. I can't find it. I could find all the other ones, but I couldn't find his, and I still can't find it. So either someone's borrowed it or nicked it, or I never actually had it. But I've had the other ones for years, so I can't understand why I didn't have this. It's one of the great unexplained mysteries of my record collection. But funnily enough, although not funny in a way, I thought I've got to get a copy of it because I've got all the others. I want this. I want to get another copy. I'll have to buy another copy. So I searched around the usual places, managed to find one, picked it up, and then 2 days later, Ace Frehley died. So sorry about that, Ace, if I've jinxed you. Perhaps I should have bought Gene Simmons's again or something and then bought yours. But sorry about that, Ace, if I've jinxed you. But yeah, I picked this up and I've forgotten how good it was. I mean, don't be hating on me or Kiss. Kiss are great. And it's sort of like, Kiss make great sort of catchy rock songs. I'm not saying they're heavy metal or anything like that, but they've got a great way of a hook and rock mixed in. And I don't think many groups, had that. And not only that, they also had the great costumes and the makeup, which made them seem like superheroes.
I think this outfit is self-explanatory. I mean,
But you're kind of like a spaceman, huh?
No, actually, I'm a plumber. On the side. Look.
Well, listen, I got a little piece of pipe backstage I'd like to have you work on.
Tell me about it. Oh, you love it, but I like that.
And as a kid, you could understand why Kiss was so big because the songs were catchy. They looked like people from another planet or superheroes. They had a comic, they had a film, they had basically everything, and they still continue to market. You can get Kiss caskets, can't you, to be buried in. I mean, it's just genius what they did. But I think that the music stands up as well. I know I'm not popular in that, but this is great. It's the story goes that Ace Frehley wasn't very happy in Kiss. He felt he was being shadowed by Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons. So the story was he was continuing to nag the two, saying, I want more songs on the album, I want more solos, I want this and that. So to shut him up, they decided to come up with the concept of releasing 4 albums. And I think Gene and Paul were sort of thinking perhaps that, well, apart from Peter Chris's, that Aces would bomb because he wasn't up to their level of songwriting. But what happened was Aces actually was the biggest selling of the 4, because probably because it sounded most like Kiss, and also because the songs are so strong. They're absolutely great. It's a great rock and roll album. You've got Rip It Out, which is just full of riffs. Speeding Back to My Baby, which is a really catchy song. It rhymes baby with maybe, but forget that. If it works, it works. It's just a great killer rock album. Snowblind, Ozone. You've got New York Groove, which became his sort of signature song, written by Russ Ballard. And it was originally done by a group called Hello, but it became Ace's sort of like signature tune. That's a really great, catchy song. But most of the songs on here were written by Ace. In fact, he did more or less everything on it. He played guitars, he played bass. He got Anton Figgin to do the drums, and the drums on here are fantastic. You've got Ace's sort of like rough edge vocals. He didn't have the sort of the vocal power of Paul or Gene, but his vocals really work with the material he's doing, and I can't recommend this enough. It's, if you like Kiss, if you like that sort of thing, I love all the 4 solo albums, to be honest with you, because they're all different. They all demonstrate, the character behind them. Gene's is quite experimental. It goes all over the place. Paul's has got element of soul, and Peter Chris's has got some great ballads and things on it. But Ace Frehley's is the best one in my eyes. It's a great album, and it finishes with the instrumental Fractured Mirror, which is great. It's sort of like a guitar instrumental where it just builds tracks upon tracks upon tracks upon tracks, and it's just a great album. But believe it or not, if you don't believe me, you're missing out. You're honestly, you're missing out. And of course, like with all the other Kiss solo records, which you can see there on the inner, it comes with the poster. I've got the poster of all of them. So if I wanted to, I could put all the posters together because they all interlock, and put it on my bedroom wall. But obviously, I think my wife would object. So it's hard to find them actually with the posters still intact, and they've all got like jigsaw type bits where you can interlock them all together. The only thing that slightly worries me about Aces is he's sort of like, he appears to be squatting. He's got one hand on his knee and his other arm's doing that, as if he's trying to force out a very difficult poo or something. And he does look quite feminine on there, which is but I suppose it is hard to draw a bloke in full makeup and not having him, and long hair, and not having him look feminine. But yeah, I'm not sure about that pose, to be honest with you. But that's a small drawback to it. But yeah, great album. So I think it was one in the eye for Gene and Paul at the time, and yeah, I love the concept. I mean, can you imagine other bands doing that? I mean, the only other band you could probably think of would be the Beatles. Imagine if the Beatles released 4 solo albums on the same day that had this sort of concept behind it. Or 10cc, you could have had the Lol Cream album, the Kevin Godley album, the Eric Stewart album, the Graham Goldman album. Just bands with 4 members who are all great songwriters. Queen could have done it as well, couldn't they? But yeah, what a concept, and that's what I love about Kiss as well. But yeah, guilty pleasure, but not a guilty pleasure because I don't believe in them. But yeah, I love Kiss, and it's great to have this back in. But sorry about potentially causing your premature death, Ace. If I had a hand in it, I apologise. Lastly, but by no means leastly, I have a hip-hop album. Well, it's a hip-hop instrumental album by one of my favourite hip-hop artists, sadly deceased now, but I'm talking about MF Doom, and this is his Special Herbs series. It's been released several times before with different sleeves and different variations, but basically the Special Herbs series is a collection of MF Doom's instrumentals, and it's sort of like it's highlighting his side as he wasn't only a great rapper, he had a great flow, very obscure, very deep voice. I loved the way he rhymed. But also, he was sort of like a very smart producer as well. and he had a sort of very off-kilter approach to hip-hop production. Lots of samples, lots of obscure things. He used to throw a lot of sort of comics in and cartoons, like, for example, the Fantastic Four. He used to build tracks around some of the sound effects in there, and a lot of the speech, obviously, from the early Marvel 60s cartoons. So he was a bit, he was a very off-kilter producer, but his beats and his samples are really sort of cleverly done, I think. So there's no rapping on the Special Herbs series, and I think there were a collection of, I think there's 6 volumes in total. They've just been reissued again. I've not got any of them, although I have heard them before, and I like the sleeve and the packaging of this series, so I thought I'll dive in and get one, but I couldn't decide which one to get, so I just closed my eyes and picked one. So I've got volumes 3 and 4. As you can see from the back, the 2 LP sets, all the tracks are named after herbs, and it's just basically showcasing Doom's approach to hip-hop production, and obviously a lot of the tracks he used on his solo albums. Some of these are from productions he did for other hip-hop artists, but it's just great to hear them as instrumentals and to hear how they were put together and things like that. So all instrumentals. They sound crazy at times. He's got a really sort of off-kilter way of sampling. I don't recognise a lot of samples on here, but he does use them in like off-kilter ways. It's not, he doesn't actually use the break always. Sometimes he uses elements leading up to a break. For example, there's a great use of Isaac Hayes' Walk On By, and if you know the track, there's like a really cool string arrangement that runs through it, but instead of the melodic bit, he takes sections of the sort of build to it, and then he makes a track around that, and it's really cool how he does it. So a big fan of MF Doom, and I do like his production as well. So, and again, this is really well packaged as well. I like what they've done with it. Fold out sleeve. There's Doom himself with his old metal face mask on. That looks like an old Akai sampler. I don't know if it is or not, but yeah, that's him hard at work. And also you get some free rolling paper as well that has Special Herbs on it. For those who like to partake of the herb, I think Cheech and Chong did a similar sort of thing on one of their albums as well. But yeah, that's cool as well. And they come on coloured vinyl. Nice polyline sleeve for those who like that sort of thing. So they all come on different coloured vinyl. 2 LP sets. And like I say, it's just great to hear hip-hop instrumentals as well. And it's very sad that he passed away when he did. I think he had a lot more albums in him, and a lot of the albums he made are absolutely superb. So that's MF Doom under the title Metal Fingers. Like I say, he had a lot of aliases, didn't he? Metal Face Doom, Metal Fingers Doom. Obviously heavily influenced by the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom and Marvel Comics in general. But yeah, love MF Doom. So if you're looking for something a bit different, if you're not a big hip-hop fan or you just like the vocals or the instrumentals, this is a great series to get. I'm hoping I'll pick up some of the other ones in time, but that's a great start, and I've been enjoying that so far. So yeah, finishing on a bit of Metaphase Doom. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching if you've watched. If not, then I hope you're enjoying all the Beatles Anthology 4 reviews. I'm going to go and watch a few more now. And then we're heading into the end of the year, aren't we? So there'll be hopefully end of year lists and Christmas themed videos. I know I'm going to do some, so stick around for that. I'm sure there's loads of people that love Christmas themed videos. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Midge out.